Welcome back to Smart Truths. In this video, we're going to see staffing for Joe's restaurant. Before going into the chapter, if you haven't seen our previous videos on how we helped Joe understand management, its principles and how she planned and organized her restaurant, do watch them. The links for the videos are provided in the description box below. Do subscribe and stay tuned to Smart Truths. Joe has successfully planned and set up her restaurant and organized it into various departments for achieving objectives of her restaurant. However, for carrying out the activities of the restaurant and individual departments, she needs chefs for cooking, staffs for cleaning, and managers to handle purchases, sales, and finance. In other words, she needs people to fill various positions in her restaurant. After planning and setting up her restaurant and deciding organizational structure and positions, Joe has to employ people to work in these positions. She has to put people to jobs. The people, after being employed, will have to be trained and motivated to achieve the goals. So Joe has to carry the next function of management, staffing. As a first step in the staffing process, Joe has to identify how many employees she needs for each department and the type of employees. So the first step in staffing process is to estimate manpower requirements. The first step of estimating manpower requirements also necessitates to analyze the number of staffs needed, which is the workload analysis, and also the number of staffs available, whether the departments are overstaffed or understaffed, which is the workforce analysis. As a second step in staffing process, Joe has to search candidates and stimulate them to apply for vacancies in her restaurant. This is the process of recruitment, which is finding possible candidates for a job. It involves identifying different sources of labor supply, assessing the validity, choosing the suitable source, and inviting application from candidates. Joe can either use the internal source or external source to identify candidates. Let's discuss the internal sources of labor supply. First is transfer. This involves shifting the employee from one job or department to another. This does not result in change in status or salary. The second is promoting the employee from a lower position to a higher position. This motivates the employee and also increases his status and salary. The internal sources of labor supply has some advantages and disadvantages. By promoting the employees, they are motivated to improve their performance and also feel satisfied to get higher positions. Internal sources also simplify selection and placement as candidates are already working in the organization and they can be evaluated more accurately. When employees are transferred, it helps in preparing employees for higher jobs. If the department is understaffed, employees can be moved from overstaffed departments, so this helps in balancing. It is also a cheaper source as compared to the external source. However, since employees are already working in the organization, there is no fresh talent from internal source. If they are sure of getting promoted, this can create lethargy among employees. New enterprise like a new restaurant cannot use the internal source of labor supply. Competition will also be reduced and frequent transfers will reduce productivity. Now let's discuss some of the external sources of labor supply available for Joe. Direct recruitment. Under this method, a notice board will be placed outside the organization specifying details of jobs available. Job seekers will assemble on the specified date and selection will be done on spot. This is an inexpensive method because it does not involve any advertising cost. Casual callers. Many reputed business organizations maintain a database of various applicants in their office. A list of such job seekers will be prepared and screened to fill in the vacancies. Advertisement. Advertisement in newspapers is generally used when a wider choice is required. The advantage of advertising is that more information can be provided about the organization and job. Employment exchanges. They are run by the government and are a good source of recruitment. They match the demand and supply and serve as a link between job seekers and employers. Placement agencies and management consultants. They compile biodata of large number of candidates and recommend suitable names to their clients. They also advertise jobs on behalf of their clients to recruit the right type of personnel. Campus recruitment. Many business organizations have close contacts with universities and management institutes, so recruitment from these educational institutions is campus recruitment. Recommendations of employees. Applicants can be introduced by present employees and they are likely to be good because their background is sufficiently known. Labor contractors maintain close contact with laborers and provide required number of unskilled workers at short notice. Advertising on television or web publishing can also be used as external sources for filling vacancies. The external sources of labor supply brings various advantages to the organization. It provides qualified and trained people to apply for vacant jobs in the organization. The management also has a wider choice while selecting the people for employment, and it brings fresh talent to the organization and improves the competitive spirit of existing staff. However, it leads to dissatisfaction among existing staff, and it is a lengthy process and very costly to recruit staff from external sources. As a third step in staffing process after recruitment, Joe has to identify and choose the best person out of number of candidates who have applied for the job. This is the process of selection. It involves preliminary screening to eliminate unqualified job seekers, selection tests like intelligence test to test the intelligence, aptitude test to measure potential to learn new skills, personality test to assess person's maturity levels, trade test to measure the existing skills, and interest test to know the pattern of interest or involvement of a person. After selection test, an interview is conducted to evaluate the applicant's suitability for the job. Then the background check is done and final selection decision is made. Before giving job offer, a medical fitness test is also done and then a letter of appointment is officially given. As the last step, contract of employment, providing basic information about the job, duties, responsibilities, payment, allowances, termination will be prepared and attested by the candidate. After the final selection is done and the contract of employment is signed, the employee will join the job and he will be given a brief presentation about the company and will be introduced to his superiors, subordinates and colleagues. The fourth step in staffing process is placement and orientation. Placement refers to the position or post for which the person has been selected. Orientation is introducing the employee to other employees and familiarizing him with the rules and policies of the organization. The fifth step in staffing process is training and development, which is a systematic learning process to improve the employee productivity and performance. So training is the process of learning new skills and application of knowledge. Education is the process of increasing the knowledge and understanding of employees, and development is the learning opportunities which are designed to help employees grow. For training the employees, Joe can either use on-the-job method or off-the-job method of training. On-the-job method of training includes apprenticeship program, which is a program under which a trainee will be put under the guidance of a master worker, and these are designed to acquire a higher level of skill. The second on-the-job training method is coaching. In this method, superior guides and instructs the trainee as a coach, and the coach will also set goals and suggest how to achieve these goals and will periodically review the trainee's progress. The third method of on-the-job training is internship training. In this method, selected candidates will carry out regular studies and will also work in the office to acquire practical knowledge and skills. The last on-the-job training method is job rotation, which involves shifting the trainee from one department or job to the other to gain a broader understanding of the business. This also helps the business to promote, replace and transfer the employees. Joe can also use some of the off-the-job methods of training, which includes classroom lectures or conferences. They can be well adapted to convey a specific information about rules, procedures, or methods. They also make it more interesting and clarify more difficult points. Films and case study, which is taken from actual experiences of organizations, are also some of the off-the-job methods of training. Computer modeling is another off-the-job method which simulates the work environment by programming a computer to imitate the realities of the job. This reduces the risk and cost that would be incurred if the mistake was made in real-life situation. Another off-the-job training method is vestibule training. Under this, employees will learn the jobs or equipment they will be using in real-life situation. However, the training will be conducted away from the actual workflow. This is usually done when employees are required to handle sophisticated machinery and equipment. The last off-the-job training method is programmed instruction. In this method, information to be given to employees will be divided into meaningful units and they will be arranged in a logical, sequential way. The employee will go through these units stage by stage and will answer questions. After training the employees, Joe has to evaluate their performance. Performance appraisal means evaluating the employee's current or past performance with certain predetermined standards. So this process will enable Joe to define the job, appraise the performance, and provide them feedback. As the seventh step in staffing process, Joe has to address career-related issues and promotional avenues for her employees. Promotions are an integral part of people's career and Joe has to do the promotion and career planning. As the last step in staffing process, Joe has to decide and establish a wage and salary plans for her employees. She has to decide the pay or rewards she is going to give to her employees. So as a part of staffing process, Joe has estimated her manpower requirements. She has also used the external sources of labor supply to recruit her employees. She has found out the right candidate and selected them for the job. And she has provided an orientation program for her selected employees. She has trained and developed them before coming to the real job. She has also provided a performance appraisal, planned for their promotions and decided their compensation. Joe has successfully completed her staffing process and has obtained competent personnel for various jobs. She has also put the right people to do the right job. She has also ensured continuous growth and survival of the enterprise and provided optimum utilization of resources, preventing understaffing or overstaffing, and improved job satisfaction and morale of the employees. We hope business studies is made simple with smart rules. For handwritten notes, check the description box below. Please do subscribe and stay tuned with us for more updates.